All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chid from Green and Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is to preview tomorrow's game, Manchester United versus Arsenal. Now, I know, before you start bitching, I know that Ola and Lee are supposed to be with me, and they are on their way. Both of them are doing various different things. Ola is probably going to be joining us in about 15 minutes or so. He's just finishing a few jobs out and about. And Lee is doing what Lee does. No, all jokes apart, Lee is finishing up a couple of things to do with the show. He'll drop in literally any second now. So bear with us. But joining us today is our big friend of the show, one of my oldest friends of the show. Not old as in old, as in
I was going to say, watch your mouth.
Is my boy Stel. Stel to the people, Stel.
Hello, mate. How you doing? Thanks for having me back on the show.
Of course, anytime. You know your family like that. Right.
Thank you, man. Likewise.
So, Manchester United. Oh man, I almost feel sorry for you guys. Almost. We were in this exact same position last year. So believe me when I say I know all your pains, I know all your struggles. But give us a little bit of detail, man. What is going on with United right now?
Where do I begin, Chris? I've been on your show 4 or 5 times, I'd say, and it's almost as if it's a broken record whenever I come on, because I'm repeating myself, not because of you, but because the problem or the problems just won't go away. And I'll just repeat, bullet point format. We've got shit owners. We've got a CEO that really isn't a football man. And we have players that are not good enough to play for the club. A number of players, plural sense. How long have you got, mate? Because things are just getting from bad to worse, where it's come to the point where, from what I've heard, the manager's just trying to get sacked. That's what I've heard, literally today.
Oh, right. Wow, okay. Is it come to that now for him? Because I guess he knows he'll get a big payoff, won't it?
You're looking around £20 million.
Yeah, I want to be sacked too if I was getting £20 million.
But wow. See, this is the thing, that you've got to question Ed Woodward in that respect, because recently, in fact, it was before the end of the transfer window, he leaked. Well, I won't say leaked. Now, the thing is, Ed Woodward has got a lot of friends in the media, because I'm sure you've heard of the term "access is currency," and by that I mean, if you're a journalist and you're in with the club or in with certain people high up, you're going to be allowed access to players, get interviews, and get information that others won't. And there are certain members of the media that are very positive about Ed Woodward and like to shit on Jose Mourinho because, well, it's an easy target and it's an easy win for him. Now, before the end of the transfer window, Woodward had a discussion with a number of journalists. And basically he was saying, the owners don't believe Jose Mourinho is a long-term manager. They don't believe that he will be here till the end of the season. There or thereabouts. That's one of the many things that he said. Now, this is the guy that negotiated a year extension on Jose's contract, but 6 or 7 months prior to that. So if the owners don't believe he's a long-term manager, why are you signing him up to a new deal? Now, you know me, Chig. I am a Jose Mourinho fan. I want the guy to succeed. In fact, I wanted him to be our head coach when Fergie retired. But because of Ferguson and Bobby Charlton, we didn't get Jose Mourinho. I went on the Footy Says podcast the other week, and they asked me, would United be better positioned now if Jose Mourinho was manager when Fergie retired? And I said, probably. But at the same time, you've got the Fergie acolytes there, like your Ryan Giggses, your Scholes, your Ferdinands, all these guys that may have been a negative influence. So it's easy to say, well, United have gone downhill since Fergie retired. But we knew that was going to happen back in 2005 when the Glazers took over, because our main fear was that we would end up like Leeds. We haven't in that respect, because financially we're far, far more stable, but we're still in debt. Are they backing the manager? That is questionable. I know people will say, but he spent X amount of money and this and that, and he bought players that he's not even playing. But I was talking to a friend of mine last night about Jurgen Klopp, and when Klopp took over at Liverpool, only 6 players that were there when he took over are in and around the fold. A lot of them he's got rid of.
Yeah.
The problem that we have is that Mourinho hasn't been able to get rid of a lot of the shit that Fergie left, that Van Gaal left, and Moyes left. And that's what I mean by not backing the manager. Now, I know full well that when he came in, the first pre-season, he saw what we had defensively. He said, this isn't good enough. Hence the reason why we bought Bailly. But who wants to buy Smalling? Who wants to buy Jones? They're talking about giving Smalling a new contract. I mean, what retard has decided that it's a good idea to give Chris Smalling a contract? I mean, are they thinking that, well, both him and Jones are out of contract in the summer and one of them is a lesser of the two evils? What? You know, I'm hearing that, and I know this for a fact, actually, that we were offered Alderweireld on deadline day for £35 million. And Ed Woodward said no to Levy because he believed that what we have at the moment defensively is better than what was available out there. Now, why is Ed Woodward making these decisions?
Yeah,
I could go on all day about this chick, honestly, but bottom line is there are a lot of footballers, and I will tell you this for now, there are a lot of players at United that are using the Mourinho, Woodward, Glazers issue as an excuse to hide behind it all. It's like a deflection for them. They can get away with these things because there are a lot of fans there that love your Pogbas, that love Herrera because they say the right things. I'm sorry, you can say whatever you want, but actions speak louder than words.
yeah,
And
it's
the performance is...
It's kind of like Özil for us, to be fair.
Well, that's another discussion that I'm sure you've had on numerous occasions, and it will continue. But but it's the same for Pogba, my friend. You know, Pogba is our Mesut Ozil, fantastic ability, but it doesn't do it enough. And the difference between Pogba and Ozil is that you've never seen Ozil really go public with his issues with whichever manager there is, unless it's the German national team. But that's completely different. Pogba is more than happy to do it, and that's purely because of the fact that Pogba is a shit. He is a shit, and he knows exactly what he's doing because he's got the club by the balls. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, boy, I can only empathise with your situation. I can see. I believe that Lee and Ola have both joined us. Are you there, boys? You're both on mute if you are, by the way.
I'm here. Sorry, I was having a
cigarette. I'm stepping on your neck tonight, brother.
Yeah, you two have just like carried on like it's nothing, like it's so professional how we're running this pod right now. Flawless,
what
man. Do you know
kind
what I mean?
of picture are you building to the people? Yeah.
It's flawless. Sorry, I took so long, man. I was getting.
We actually have a professional with us, so don't build that picture.
I was getting my preview out there, and it just took an age to process, man, and I don't know why. But there we go. I'm here. Better late than never.
Ola, you don't want us to see your face, no?
Right about now, man. I just kick him back. I was an audio thing to that, man. Yeah. Look, I want a kickback thing, man. You know what I mean? But,
no alcohol. No, okay.
Yeah, man. So I just gonna go audio still. You feel me? Just kick back into it.
Yeah. So now we got the full crew. I'll tell you what. Let me start off with Lee. So Lee, you've always been a pretty, I suppose, up until recently, a kind of a silent fan of Jose, and almost, especially this time last year, you almost admired United. What's your feelings on them now?
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I said almost.
I did. Do you know what? Right, Jose's in meltdown right now. He is in meltdown, right? And until this season, I rated him so highly, but this season I've swayed the opposite way. He is just like, I don't know what his problem is. It's just I don't know. Like, obviously he's upset that the ball ain't backed him, this and that. But when you actually look at what he's spent since he's been there, they have backed him. So they've looked at that this summer and gone, well, hang on, we've given you £300 million, £400 million, whatever it is. Yeah, you've delivered Europa League, League Cup, but we ain't going to trust you with another £200 million. You know, so he's spitting his dummy out going, well, yeah, but I haven't got this and I haven't got that. But then he's playing players that shouldn't be starting, and the players he brought under his leadership are not starting games. Like Fred, for example. Right? They paid 50 million quid for Fred. He's hardly started a game. You know, and like when you look at that, it's just like, Jesus Christ, like, is this guy trying to get himself sacked? The problem is, because he's on such a big contract, they're scared to sack him because it's a massive payout for them. But the way I look at it is it'll be easier to get rid of Jose and cheaper to get rid of Jose than for somebody like Paul Pogba, who's marketable, to hand in a transfer request. Although they'd get a big transfer fee by selling him, that's a massive kick in the teeth if he says, I want to leave. Because he's their record signing.
Pogba's exactly the type of player you'd hate if you played for Arsenal. He'd be...
No, do you know what? Do you know what? I actually wouldn't, right? Because I think he would be unreal at Arsenal. Ooh. I really believe that. I think he'd be so better at Arsenal. I think Martial's the same.
Lee, let me tell you something. Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial, Luke Shaw, Jesse Lingard, Rashford, they're fucking cancers, mate. They are.
Do you know what? The last, and you know I rate your opinion. We're pals, yeah? The last three you named are not on the same level as the other two you mentioned at the beginning, yeah? Rashford, Luke Shaw, don't get the hype. Rashford, gifted, but not good enough for United. Yeah, he's not good enough for United. He's a good player, right? He's played a lot of games, but he ain't United standard. And
I agree.
Of United from the past, right?
I agree. But see, here's the thing, Lee. What you got to understand is that these players I mentioned, it's a little click they've got, right? It's a little click. And I've said this before, and someone on Twitter pulled me up on it, and I'm not going to mention his name because I don't think it's right. And I said to him, well, if you don't know the facts, then that's just how it is. I know full well that these players have been very, very disruptive. Pogba especially. I'll tell you this from now. I'm not even afraid to say. When I interviewed him this time last year, his PA said to me, "Do not ask any questions about Jose Mourinho," and that was even before. It came out that they fell out because Jose was pissed off that he went to LA to train when he was injured. Right?
Yeah, but still, do you know what? Right, Paul Pogba's £90 million worth of footballer. Right, whether he's worth that or not is questionable. Yeah, right. But he is a bigger asset to Man United than Jose Mourinho. End of story, right?
I agree.
So when the manager is coming out, digging you out time and time again, right? When you're a £90 million footballer and you're one of the most expensive footballers ever in world football, and you've got some geezer who's been around the world, yes, he's won pretty much everywhere he's been, he's won. Right, but when he's digging you out every week and you're Paul Pogba on whatever he's earning a week, 90 million quid, you're strutting around like, yeah, my shit don't stink. I'm Paul Pogba, right? And then you get some geezer, right, playing you out of position every week, right? Not playing to your strengths, digging you out week in, week out. If that was me, I'd tell Jose go fuck himself. Right?
I think he already did that.
I think he has pretty much done that. But that is where the club have got an issue because Paul Pogba is your most expensive player. He's probably your top earner. And if played in the right position, he is a top draw footballer. But then they've also got the dilemma that Jose Mourinho is on the decline, but he's still a top class coach, yeah? So they can't really sack Jose because they think that Jose could potentially bring them the Champions League, yeah, or the league again. That ain't happening this season, by the way, right? But at the same time, you've got Paul Pogba, who's their most expensive asset, most marketable asset. So they're in a catch-22 because they don't really want to lose either because it's bad marketing or bad PR on Man United Football Club. So now they're stuck with loggerheads between these two high-profile figures. And you're just getting worse and worse every week.
Hey, Lee, I checked out Jose Mourinho's presser today, right? And that guy looks comfortable. He's all talking about May and shit. He ain't talking like somebody's gonna pot him.
Mate, Mark Hughes sat there the other day and said the ball back of me. The next day sacked. Let's not read into that.
Yeah, but the way Jose Mourinho is spinning this shit, it's like he's gonna get what he wants. I don't know what dream he's selling the board, but he's selling your board. He's selling the Man United board a dream, because
You've got it
Look,
totally
right
wrong.
now,
You've got it so wrong. You don't
right
believe how
now-
wrong you've got it here.
okay. So how come is it don't look like he's under any kind of pressure? That's the man from his presence today.
Ola.
The man,
I disagree. When he's throwing water bottles and the bottles of juice are splashing the first row, yeah, man's under pressure. Trust me, right? That guy,
yeah,
is he still living in a hotel?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. He ain't even bought a house in Manchester or surrounding areas, right?
No,
He ain't there for the long term. We all know that, right? He is not a long term manager, right? Now he's in his fourth year. Is this his fourth year? Third year?
Third, right?
Third year, right? Now there's this hype around his third years everywhere. Bollocks. He's won trophies in his third year at other clubs, right? So dismiss that straight away. The problem with Man United is there's too many big egos there that he's upsetting, but the board are not football people. Yeah, they're business people. They're not going to get rid of.
He's
They're not going to get rid of Jose Mourinho because he's one of the biggest managers in the world.
He's got enough people on his side that he's selling the dreams to win this thing. He's playing divide and conquer.
He'll never win against Pogba and players like that, man. They're too big a player.
From outside looking in, that's what it looks like he's playing. He's playing divide and conquer. He's got certain man that will do whatever for him. People that he recruited, like Matic, like Lukaku, those guys.
But
yeah?
You know what? To me, and I think this is where I realized, oh my gosh, United are not United anymore. When you look at the irony that Mark Hughes got sacked because he couldn't hold a 2-0 lead over Manchester United. You're like, hold on, what the fuck? What's going on?
Don't be so modest, chick, man.
Don't get me wrong. Modest, I don't rate Mark Hughes as a manager. Don't get it twisted. But it's like, come on, what? It was not so long ago that was seen as an amazing result. Now the Southampton directors are like, oh, fuck this.
Well, United is their measuring stick right now, man. That's messed up. That is messed up. But this is the age we're living in now, where United is. Look, we were in this situation for the last 2 years, last season. So I kind of feel the pain you guys are.
That's what I said to Stel at the very start. Yeah. But you didn't believe me.
I kind of feel your pain.
Ola, you're spot on, bro, right? Because you see how they were taunting us, right, for the last 5 years, right?
It's a horrible place to be.
And as much as I love you, Stel, yeah, right, and you never ripped us apart because you're sound, you're safe, you're not biased like most football fans, yeah, right? Which is why we get on, right? But I am loving it. Sanchez, man, that geezer's taking more pictures with his dogs than he's scoring goals. Right,
Smalling has more goals in 2018.
Mate, I think everyone does. Yeah. Literally, everybody does. Torreira's got the same amount of goals this season as Alexis Sanchez and Rashford and all these. Mate, it's crazy, right? But this is the problem with Man U. Yeah, Man United now are a club in decline, the same as Arsenal are still possibly a club in decline from where we were, both as clubs 10 years ago, 15 years ago, battling it out before Chelsea come along, right? Man United has still got the spending power, but they've got the wrong personnel to spend the money, right? You've got Jose Mourinho, who, let's be real, is a checkbook manager, other than at Porto, right? Which got him his lucky break, a shitty fucking goal from Paul Scholes that weren't allowed, right? Basically won that guy the Champions League, right? And from the back of that, he's gone on and he's had a mad career, which is why I said, yeah, he's a decent manager. And I rated him until this season. But when you're digging out players constantly, eventually there comes a point where it's just like, nah, enough is enough. And when you're digging out a £90 million footballer, right, whether he's worth that or not is irrelevant. They paid 90 million quid plus all the wages. So it's about, 190 million quid total, yeah? Right? You're taking on your biggest asset. Eventually, he's getting fucking sacked. Let's be real. All 4 of us here know he's getting potted at some point, yeah? Paul Pogba will not leave that football club before Jose Mourinho. That is a fact, right? But the question is not about Jose and it's not about Paul Pogba. It's about the board. The board have allowed this to go on since Fergie left. Mismanagement, misspending. You know, Alexis Sanchez, look at the difference in that geezer at Man United to what he was at Arsenal. Yeah, there's a reason for that. It's because there's a shit atmosphere at training. There's a shit tactics being set up every game. Yeah, and players are being dug out left, right, and centre. Yeah, and until that changes, And the only people that can change that are the board of directors by potting the manager and getting a younger, fresher manager in. Maybe Pochettino. I don't know. I don't think he's good enough for United, to be honest with you. I think there's better out there. But until Man United...
Still do better than Mourinho.
Me too.
Yeah, until
I'd
Man
have Zidane over
United get rid of the joke at that football club, which is Jose Mourinho, you've got to start playing Martial because the guy's gifted as fuck. Yeah, Martial a few years ago is what Mbappe is now. Yeah, that is how highly Man United fans regarded Martial. Look at the difference in their careers. Martial's gone down, Mbappe's fucking flying high, finishing third in the Ballon d'Or. Yeah, whether that's right or not is irrelevant, right? But that all comes down to confidence. It comes down to right management, tactics on the day. Jose Mourinho looks like a washed-up football manager on the end of it that can't be fucking asked. He ain't putting any foundations down in or around Manchester in terms of buying a house. He knows he's only there. He's creaming the big money. He don't give a fuck.
Lee,
Yeah,
I remember a couple years ago when me and you were sat on this show and we said we'll take Mourinho. Remember that?
I would have.
Couple seasons ago, we were saying, and it's crazy how time flies. And
I wouldn't swap him for Emery. I wouldn't swap Emery for him. No,
not
mate.
now. But I'm talking about obviously when the previous manager was there. When the previous manager, I ain't tripping.
No, you're meant to make us say his name. Why am I the only one backing this? Anyway,
I ain't tripping on that one there.
Let me. I just Stel, just one for you. Guna Michael in the chat room says, "Look at what Jose's done to Stel. He's making him smoke. He's actually vaping." Stel, do you see an end? Do you think that Jose or the board will make a decision in the next couple of weeks?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck me sideways. Listen, this is what I was saying to you before we went live, right? Jose Mourinho was given a 1-year extension by Ed Woodward, right? And then Ed Woodward is going out saying that he's not a long-term manager, right? Jose Mourinho will not get sacked anytime soon because Ed Woodward's head is on the fucking chopping block. Don't forget, he brought in Louis van Gaal. He sacked David Moyes, right? He brought in Jose Mourinho, right? He's happy to stand in front of the camera when we make these marquee signings. My add that Alexis Sanchez was actually brought in to prevent Man City from getting him. That's the logic. That was the fucking logic of signing Alexis Sanchez because City wanted him. That's the logic. It's not going to end anytime soon, right? Let me give you a little bit of information that I read earlier today, right? You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are owned by the Glazers, right? What they're doing now, they've implemented the buy one ticket, get one free system. So if you've got a season ticket, you can get a ticket as well, an additional one for cut price, right? And that's what the Buccaneers are doing because they're so desperate to sell tickets. Lo and behold, there's a whole bunch of empty seats for tomorrow's game because people aren't going to go to games, right? But it doesn't matter because the club is still generating money from TV revenue, from all these noodle partnerships. We've got the official bed partner from Azerbaijan or some bollocks, and this is Ed Woodward. See, Ed Woodward could do no wrong in the Glazers' eyes because he's bringing in the money, right? But if he was to sack Jose Mourinho, it will look bad on him again. Can you imagine if Ed Woodward goes to another dinner party with one of his tough friends and they're like, "Oh, Ed, how are you getting on?" "Yes, I've sacked another manager." "Isn't that the third one you've sacked in 5 years?" He's going to look like a complete and utter mug, right? The problem that we have is Jose Mourinho. It's the players, it's also the board, and it's also Woodward. We've got 4 issues here, right? At least with Arsenal, you kind of like, it kind of dispersed slowly. Like Wenger fucked off, and then Gazidis pissed off to Milan. And even though you still got silent stand there, at the end of the day, nothing's been pointed in his direction because you're winning games, right?
Yeah. Because we still got problems. Don't get it twisted. We definitely
you do, but right now you're 19, 20, 21 games unbeaten. I've lost count. Like, so what is there to complain about? You've got nothing to moan about. The results are there. Right. What Jose Mourinho is doing now is proving that 1, he's unmanageable for a start. 2, he throws his toys out of the pram when he doesn't get his own way. And he's kind of right in a way. I'm not defending him completely because he isn't blameless in this. He's got his own I've got my own things to say about him, but I can go on all night about it. And thirdly, I mean, when you look at his team selection, it just shows that what Lee said, he doesn't care. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to play Matic at centre back to prove a point. He's proving a point because he's like,
some sections of your fans reckon he's sabotaging the games. What you say? Some section of your fans, yeah, reckon he's he keeps sabotaging your games.
Who?
Like team with the team selection that you just mentioned just now, like he's putting certain players in on purpose to lose on purpose.
He's not doing it to lose. He's not doing it to lose on purpose. He's doing it to prove a point. That when he said that we need an experienced central defender, and we had Alderweireld there that wanted to join us, and Woodward said no. Jose Mourinho is doing it. He's sticking his middle finger up at the owners. Now, what you guys aren't seeing is there are a lot of United fans that are backing Jose Mourinho, not because of the way that we play, because it's dire, not because of his team selection, but because he's the only manager out of the previous two that we've had under the Glazers since Fergie fucked off and left us in this shit. He's the only one that's actually stepping up to them. He's open about transfer policy. He's open about the players that aren't pulling their weight. He's the only manager that's had the balls to pull up these guys. And to be honest, that's why I admire him in a sense, because you got these managers these days that love to hug their players and deflect things and say, oh, well, you know, we're going to work on this. No, if he's being a cunt, you tell him he's being a cunt. You make it public so that people know, because you've got a lot of idiotic football fans on Twitter that see Anthony Martial. He said something really nice on Instagram the other day. Fuck off. Do it on the pitch, you cunt. Right? Don't cry because someone... Don't cry because Ibrahimovic took your number 9 and you got that number 11 shirt from another cunt that wore it before, right?
Martial for Stel is like Ozil for Lee.
Don't you think Stel sounds like me from last season though?
Yeah, I know.
Boy.
Bro, you know what? See,
I love Stel, man.
This is the thing. This is the thing, right? This is what annoys me the most. I've been supporting United since I was 9 years old. Right, so we're talking 88, 89 season. So I remember when we were shambolic, right? I remember when Steve Bruce was our leading scorer in one season, yeah, right? So this is what I'm talking about. We've got a lot of fans, right, that obviously have been brought up in the time when we were successful, when they've experienced nothing but victories, which is understandable why they feel this way. But what they also got to realize is that football comes in cycles. If you look at them blue-nosed cunts that are up the road from us, right? They're doing things properly. Okay, their owners have got human rights issues, so to speak, but they're pumping their money into the club. They're improving the infrastructure. They're doing things for the community, all right, albeit a bit dodgily when you've got the what's it called, the head of the local authority working for Man City now, but that's by the by. But they're doing things the right way in terms of building the club. You know, they handpicked Guardiola. It was a 5-year plan to get Guardiola in. You know, it's like us now. If we were to sack Jose Mourinho, who is out there that would want to come to United? Now, people are going to say, well, United are a big club. Granted. But when you go for a job interview and you see the people
Mark
that you're
Hughes
working
is available.
with, oh yeah, Leslie, yeah, great. Let's bring him. That'd be great. You know?
You're a troll, you know, Lee.
Another fucking moron. Honestly, how people like him get jobs these days is beyond me. I could do a fucking better job.
Do you know he's had more Premier League jobs than any other manager ever in the Premier League history?
And he's got more excuses than fucking Donald Trump.
He's the only manager ever to be sacked twice in a calendar year from 2 different Premier League clubs. But on the flip side of that,
Mark Hughes is a cunt anyway, so
most Premier League football clubs managed, because he's not that bad. He's just gone into shit clubs and got worse and worse since he left City.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. Mark Hughes had a golden opportunity to make something of himself at Man City, and he chose to sign Adebayor and Roque Santa Cruz. I think it just says it all, really, doesn't it?
I am also not a Mark Hughes fan, so don't get me started.
He's not a cunt. He can fuck off.
All right, so Ola, let me ask you this, right? So you famously coined Santa Claus Arsenal, and obviously as we look towards the game tomorrow, everything's looking rosy. We produced a brilliant performance against Spurs, and on paper we're favourites. That word unsettles me when it comes to Arsenal, because as soon as we start getting tagged favourites for anything, that's usually where Santa Claus Arsenal kicks into gear. And we do have United, especially at Old Trafford, but United do have this ability somehow to get a stupid result against us when, despite the fact that we're favourites.
Shut up, Chris.
So
shut up. Listen, it's not going to happen tomorrow, so don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm just saying.
Don't worry your little head.
I'm just saying. Listen, we spent a lot of energy against Tottenham, and it would just be like Joe
you don't
said,
understand,
to get some
man.
sort of dumb result. Can you see that happening tomorrow? Honestly, hand on heart, can you see it happening?
Hand on heart. I don't know what's going on with the echo in there, but hand on heart, yeah. I feel there's a possibility, and I'll tell you why. We're spent. We've got a lot of players. Well, a few key players that are injured. Now, I would expect from what we've been doing so far since the first couple games of the season, and if we came with that sort of impetus, we should be all right. But there's this thing about United and Arsenal runs. The key word is Arsenal runs.
Yeah, yeah.
It freaks me out.
We're 19 unbeaten, and it would just be like United to stop that just for the fuck of it.
Just for the heck. They don't even need it. They don't need it because it doesn't change your season. It doesn't improve you. It doesn't really do anything for you in the table. It does fuck all for you. But they'll just do it just for the heck of it. Like, it kills me, man. It's the one. Look, this thing has been like a King Kong. Not a monkey. It's like King Kong on our back, man. And we need to unload that fucker. And I don't know if look, we're going there with a new manager. This is the positive. We're going there with a new manager, new idea, new tactical nous, new plans, ways of doing things. People are being held accountable for how they play. So, with all that being said, I still think United players, it don't matter how shit they play until the playoffs. They wake up. It's like they wake up from the living dead, and they just start grabbing our souls out of from the ground and thing. And I know Stel's thinking, why are you thinking we're gonna get a result again? It's what you do. Last season, you lot had all your players were injured. I couldn't believe it. I was thinking, yeah, we're gonna have a field day with you lot. You didn't. You lot played Michael Carrick in defense. I remember. You remember that game? You man played Michael Carrick in defense. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have a field day with you. We ended up losing that game.
Yeah, I made a superstar out of Rashford.
You know what I mean?
Rashford is in the England squad today because of what he did in that
game.
I'm convinced.
Because of that game.
I'm convinced.
You know, so there's loads of players that's done like that one thing against us, and they've gone and made a name for themselves off of it. You know what I mean? So I hope we don't have a Santa Claus kit on tomorrow. I hope we'll go over to Old Trafford and get the result that we need, because for me, if we don't get 3 points tomorrow, that game against Spurs is almost for nothing. But then, before this game, before those two games, I did say I'd be happy with 4 points out of 6. Now we've got 3 of it. But because of the way we played against Spurs, I don't just want 4 points now. I want all 6. I want all of it. But can we actually go and out tactic Jose Mourinho at Old Trafford?
What with Matic, Phil Jones, Rojo, and Dallo at the back?
I said that about Carrick last season.
R.I.P. United.
You know,
man. Look, so you're looking at Aubameyang. He's going to score fucking 6 goals. It's going to be like FIFA.
Oh, please.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it, man. Don't jinx it. Estelle, don't jinx it. But you know what? Yeah, look, we still got to approach that game and show the opposition the respect.
But not too much respect. That's the point.
Not too much. Not too much. but enough to take the game seriously. Because if we're looking at the game on paper, their key players is injured. Their
Ashley
certain players
Young, who always plays well against
no,
us, is
Why do you
no
even
Young,
mention
no Sanchez.
why do you even mention
Look,
Lukaku? The guy almost did his ACL by controlling a ball, for fuck's sake.
Lukaku nearly killed himself. Did the ACL? The man nearly murdered. That was self-harming.
Trapping the ball, you know.
The man nearly killed
It's a
himself by treading
masochist,
on the
man.
ball. Look, man got a mouthful of grass from tripping on that ball there. I never see. Look, you that thought it was a cow yamming some grass off the floor, man. I'm like, what the hell was going on here?
Do you know what's going to make matters even worse for me tomorrow? That Mkhitaryan, that kebab eating cunt, is going to score a goal, isn't he? He's going to score a couple.
He ain't getting in the starting 11. Don't worry about that.
No, don't worry.
Stel.
He'll bring him on just for the sake of it.
Still, he loves to prove a point here with Mkhitaryan. I think is maybe this could be the switch. You lot could jumpstart his season. It might be you lot that end up jumpstarting his season. I would love that.
I had that feeling when we beat Newcastle 3-2. I thought, yeah, you know, that's great because, you know, they put in a shift second half. You know, we were dire in the first half and we got back. We got a winner. I even thought the same for Alexis Sanchez. That might have kickstarted his United career, but it's the same old. And what it is, as I said before, you've got some footballers that say certain things through social media. They use social media to say the right things in inverted commas and appease the fans, and it gets them in their good books. And they have a couple of shit performances, and people are like, oh yeah, but you know, he loves the club. No, he doesn't. If these players love the club, they would put in a shift for whoever is in charge. And it's the same with Arsenal last season. These players that said, oh, I love the club and this and that, they should have been put in a shift, not for the manager, but for the fans. But these players clearly don't give a shit. And I'm telling you this for now, right? You know, if Mourinho was to go in the summer, I cannot think of one manager that is available at the moment that can do any better than what's going on now.
Everyone's available.
Yeah, but as I said before, Lee, right? You know, if someone mentioned Pochettino earlier, right?
Yeah.
He's done a fantastic job at Spurs.
He ain't good enough for Man United, man.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that's just an example. That's just an example. But what I'm saying is that he's done a great job with Spurs, right? But he hasn't got a squad with a massive click. You haven't got players that are doing their own thing as and whenever they want. If he came in, he'd take one look at Pogba and his antics off the field, the way that he behaves in training, the way that things are done, and he'll be like, for fuck's sake, what have I done? What have I done? The only person that can realistically think can come in and do anything is Antonio Conte. But then we saw how that ended at Chelsea. So then what? You know, so as I said, the only salvation I can think of, and you know, the only hope that I have is that the Saudis come in and take us over, which is something that I've been talking about for months now.
There's only one way this can go, mate. There's only one. Give it Giggsy till the end of the season.
Oh, God,
Give it Giggs.
That'd be Phil's worst nightmare. You don't know how he hates this guy.
Do you know if he ever got the job as Man United manager, I'd never watch them ever again. Like as long as he's in charge, I'd never watch. I cannot. I'm sorry, and this isn't just my personal differences. I cannot. I mean, I saw that team talk that he gave against Norwich City, and it was atrocious. I mean, how can he motivate anyone? The guy's got a personality of a grapefruit, for fuck's sake. You know? And he's a kind of a human being, you know. So, anyway.
Do you know what, right? I think that if you potted Jose, there would be so many people queuing up for that job.
100%.
Because it's the same with us, right? We've been in decline for a long time.
Easy money,
right?
that's why.
Right? And everyone said to us, be careful what you wish for. Yeah? Do you know what? I wished for that fucking atmosphere, that performance, that passion, that drive, everything we see on Sunday. I've wished for that for a long, long fucking time, right? And I was there on Sunday still, yeah? I was there. That stadium was bouncing before we even got in it. Yeah, as I'm walking to the turnstile, everyone singing, chanting. You could feel the vibe. We knew we were going to win. We knew it. You could sense it. Right, and even when we went 2-1 down, not at one single fucking point in that game did I think we were not going to come back and win. Yeah, and I stood there and I thought, you know what? We need to get a goal quick in the second half. As soon as we get that, they are fucked because they've had 2 tough games, right? Then we got the third, but the killer goal came 3 minutes later. If we hadn't have got that, they might have come back and got a draw because we would have dropped deeper, right? But Man United are in the same position as we've been in. you've got a manager that you don't particularly like. A lot of your fans want to keep him. A lot of your fans want him fucked off, right? You've got a squad of players that are underperforming that can perform a whole lot better than what they are. You've got egos in the squad, the same as we had. Yeah, our ego has apparently got a backache, according to Unai Emery. Backache. Yeah, don't know when he got it. Yeah, don't know when he got it. Yeah, was he at the game of the weekend? Don't know. Yeah,
is he going to be available tomorrow?
Don't know. He's on his, he's just doing his own thing. He's just doing his own thing. Yeah, he's just doing his own thing. Man's doing what he wants, right? So we've got our ego, the same as you've got your egos. We've got rid of our manager. I don't care how anyone dresses it up. We fucked him off, right? We told him straight, and you see his press conferences after it came out. He was screwing that it got stuck on him, right? And it was. Let's be real. Let's not dress this up and skirt around it. He got potted. He got told, "Fuck off, or you're getting sacked." Right?
Man said he was stepping down.
Yeah. Now, fast forward 7 months later, we've now got a stadium that, after 10 minutes after the full-time whistle against Tottenham, every single fucking supporter was still there clapping them boys as they're doing a walk around the stadium, clapping us for our support, right? When I walked out of the fucking North Bank and I walked out onto the concourse, there was a queue 30 deep. Yeah? 30 deep queuing up for drink. I ain't seen that for years. Yeah? I have not seen that for years, right? The atmosphere before the game, like I said, everyone was on it, right? Now, Man United are in exactly the same position, albeit he's only been there 3 years, right? And until you make that jump and fuck him off, right? Fuck Ed Woodward, fuck the Glazers.
But this is what I'm saying, Lee. Get rid of Mourinho won't change a thing.
It won't. I am the right manager in Stel.
No,
like,
it
we've
won't.
got Stan Kroenke, right? Stan Kroenke is done a full takeover of the club. Our fans are in meltdown. Oh, we're fucked. He's not going to spend any money. Our two strikers are worth 110 million quid. Yeah, and guess what? Aubameyang came in after Lacazette for tour. Lacazette could have sulked and spat his dummy out and gone, "What the fuck is going on here? I'm the main boy. Now you're bringing in Aubameyang, who outscores me every season, for 10 million quid more." But you know what? Look at the way they go on, man. They're like fucking best pals. And it shows on the pitch because they're both banging goals. Because we've now got a manager that ain't comfortable. He's coming in going, "I need to get this club back up to where they need to be. I'm under pressure. So I don't give a fuck if you're Mesut Ozil. If you ain't fucking doing it, you're dropped. I don't care if you're Mkhitaryan and Iwobi. You're subbed at half time, right?" And that double substitution he made at half time won us that football match, right? Now, Jose Mourinho had that when he was first at Chelsea. I remember he'd done a treble substitution after 30 minutes or whatever it was. Can't remember what game it was. Yeah. But they ended up going on and winning that football match. And I think they won the title that season, right? He ain't got that anymore because he's confused. He's comfortable. He's a multi-millionaire, whereas at the time he weren't, right? Until you get rid of that and get somebody in who's young, hungry, and got a point to prove, which Emery has because he was potted from PSG because of Neymar. Yeah, let's be real. Neymar runs PSG. He got him the sack. Even though he won a treble, the Champions League collapse against Barcelona didn't help, right? But until you go out there and go, right, we're going to identify this guy as our manager. He's won shit, which is why that eradicates Pochettino, because he ain't ever winning shit. Go and find a young, talented manager that wins in a different league. Get him in. Start knocking a few noses out.
I ain't being funny,
Start
Lee,
winning
man.
games. Hang on, Lolo. Sorry, mate. 1 sec, yeah? Start knocking a few noses out of joint, right? Start boosting the confidence and start jumping around on the touchline. I heard us against Vorskla the other day, yeah? I watched that game on TV. The whole time that game was on TV, Unai Emery is telling Matt Guendouzi, pass. Smith Rowe, go. Pass to Aaron. That won us a fucking penalty. Our manager is talking us through a game. Your manager's sitting there throwing water bowls, right?
Yeah, but Lee,
so until you get rid of that shit and get somebody in, you'll then forget about Woodward and the Glazers if you start going on the winning run, like we have about Kroenke.
Lee, see, this is the thing, right? People have said to me, you know,
I don't want him to get rid of Mourinho, man. I want Mourinho to stay.
So, Stel, what were you going to say? What were you going to say, Stel? Go on.
But no, what people were saying to me was that you guys were winning trophies under the Glazers when Fergie was there. I was like, yeah, well, that's true, but it wasn't because of the Glazers. It was in spite of the Glazers. Now you guys have got that Milicinat bloke that has been working tirelessly in the background to bring in players. He's been scouting this one. I mean, Guendouzi has been an absolute revelation.
Unreal.
Torreira obviously has been fantastic. We don't have that, right? And the problem that we have is that when Jose wants certain players, he's got players, but he hasn't got his prime targets. And I know people say, "Oh, well, it's all bollocks because this and that." Well, Lukaku wasn't his first choice.
Morata was.
Huh?
Morata was, wasn't he?
No, it was Griezmann. Griezmann was his first choice. That's when Griezmann decided to stay at Atletico Madrid. And then obviously Morata was the next one. Morata decided to dye his hair red because he thought it was Johnny United. That's another story. Did the Robinho.
By the way, you've dodged the bullet with Morata. I'd have
Lukaku. Have we really? Because which one's the lesser of the two evils?
I'd have Lukaku over Morata, mate. Trust me.
I don't know. That's a bit debatable.
I don't know. That's a big debate, isn't it?
Go and have a look at the career goals that Morata scored, and then compare.
I'm gonna lie, that was hard. That was hard,
man. See
the
which one makes the team out of them two, man.
The way I see it is that I'm not complaining about the amount of money spent, because it is a huge amount of money that the huge outlay has been spent on players. It goes back to what I said before to Chris. We've got players there that shouldn't be there. I mean, look at Chris Smalling. I'm going to put this into perspective. Look at the top 5 teams in the league at the moment. I'm looking at the table. Would Chris Smalling get any of those teams? Would Phil Jones? Would Matteo Darmian? Would Ashley Young? Would Valencia? Would even Luke Shaw getting in one of the top 5 clubs? And this is what I'm saying. Like, you can bring in any manager in the world. Yeah, you can motivate these players and get a tune out of some of them. You probably get a tune out of Martial if you hug him right, or you let him play with his toys every now and again, or the same with Pogba, and let Jesse Lingard practice his dance moves, little prick. But the way I see it is that when you've got players that have been at the club that have outstayed their welcome, a lot of players have stagnated. They haven't gone on to improve. Phil Jones hasn't gone on to improve. He hasn't become the Duncan Edwards that Ferguson said he would. Chris Smalling has just remained that non-league player that he was when it was at, was it Maidstone before Fulham? I don't know. And you can blame the coaching methods, you could blame the managers, but at the same time, the players also have to be held accountable. Now I'm looking at Babs Stachopoulos, right? The guy that you got from Dortmund, right? I've never really seen him as a top-class central defender. He's got mistakes in him. He's a bit erratic, but you know what? He's experienced. He knows the pitch. His positional awareness is good. So you'll never see him making a mistake that isn't a technical mistake. It'll always be like a physical. Maybe he's off the pace a little bit, or he might have a brain lapse. But you got that. Mustafi is another player. I don't really rate him, but when he's got someone alongside him, like a bouncer, as I like to call it, he's a pretty decent central defender. Bellerin, he's come into his own this season. He's still doing the whole fashion.
Stel, why is that? You just said about your whole back line, yeah? Right. Bellerin, I was on his case for 2 years, man.
Yeah,
I was on his case. Zoolander. Ola called him Zoolander to his face. Big up, Ola. Right? Yeah. But I was on that geezer's case for 2 seasons, right? Because he was just the bang average right back that landed a big contract, similar to Luke Shaw. Yeah. Bellerin this season has been one of our best players. Right?
Different animal right now.
Fucking manager.
I agree.
Aaron Ramsey didn't track back on a particular ball we gave away at the weekend, yeah? Bellerin fucking cunted him, mate. Cunted him, yeah? We ain't seen that in this squad. It's technically, yeah, it's the same squad.
They're getting coached and drilled, isn't it? They're getting
because
coached
they are
and
being
drilled.
told, and now Bellerin, the same Bellerin I've mugged off for 2 years, is now having a go at Aaron Ramsey, who's been there a decade, saying, "Oi, you give the fucking ball away, you come back and help me, mate." Yeah? The next time Ramsey gave the ball away, he fucking bust his nut to go and get that ball back. Yeah? And that is down to the manager sticking it on them all.
Yeah,
and
but Lee, it
making
works
them
both
all
ways,
uncomfortable
man.
to
It
they will
works
be
both
dropped.
ways. But it works both ways. A 69 isn't a 69 if it's just one person doing the sucking, right? It's got to work both ways.
You're a fucker who's spat that out.
It's true though, right? Because it works both ways. If Hector Bellerin is still got a shit attitude, right? He ain't going to be doing all of these things, is he?
Yeah,
so
but
the manager's obviously had a word.
Get dropped and Lichtsteiner are going.
I know, but this is what I'm saying. But as I said, if you look at the players that we've got, forget the whole front line, forget your Sanchez's, your Martial's. I'm talking about the back line here, right? Someone said to me the other day, well, he brought in Bailly and Lindelof. Well, I believe that there's a player in Lindelof, but again, he needs. This is his first season, and he needs time. You can't judge him on 4 or 5 months. It's not fair, right? Eric Bailly, again, people saying, well, what's happened to him? They fully rate him. Well, no one's realised that Eric Bailly hasn't been the same player since he came back from that injury 2 seasons ago. It's not that he's regressed. Like physically, he has as a player, possibly not. He's still got it up here, but he isn't physically the same player, which is why.
How old is he again? How old is Bailly again?
25, is he? 24, 25?
He ain't even hit his peak yet, man.
He hasn't. But see, again, it goes back to this is the Louis Saha syndrome. I remember when Louis Saha had endless amounts of injuries at United, but there's one in particular. He came back from injury, played Milan in the Champions League. I think it was a quarter-final. It was away, and he refused to play because he was scared of getting injured again. And I think it's the same with Eric Bailly. Against City last season, when we were 2-0 down at half-time, him and Rojo had an absolute stinker, right? And that's when Jose Mourinho saw him as like, well, what's happened here? What's going on with this guy? And he's not playing him as much. And I feel for the lad because he was our best player that first season. Okay, Ibrahimovic was outstanding. But if you're talking about a player that's young, and don't forget, Bailly hadn't even played 70 games as a professional at Villarreal before he joined United, so he was relatively inexperienced, and he came and did a fantastic job.
So, can I ask you a question before we move on to
ask me what you want?
Before
ask me about the 69 things. I'm not going to go into that. That's rude.
I won't. Before we move on to our combined 11, can I ask you this? And this is a question from Ryan in the chat room, by the way, Mr. Arsenal.
Hello, Ryan.
I don't watch his podcast. He asks, who would you prefer to manage United right now? Jose Mourinho or another available manager, Arsene Wenger?
I knew that was coming.
What a question, big up Ryan.
He is technically available. Let's be real.
Everyone's available at the right price.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said before. No matter who you bring in, you're still going to get the same figure. Okay, I think with Wenger being French, he's going to have that father figure attitude, that father figure look. But at the same time, if you compare it to say a lesser experienced manager like Thierry Henry that's gone to Monaco, he's got that stature, he's got that name that a lot of younger players can relate to, and he's struggling to win. I call him Thierry or Henry now. That's just how it is. I mean, because he can't get a win to save his fucking life at Monaco, and it's not the guy's fault. But who would you pick, Ryan? Because the way I see it is that if you bring Arsene Wenger in, you're only going to play one system, and it's the same with Jose Mourinho. You're only going to play one system. The difference is Jose Mourinho is outspoken. He says it like it is. He's not afraid to throw people under the bus. Whereas Arsene Wenger, as we've seen over the years, he's happy to be the bulletproof vest, so to speak.
Just so you know, the chat room's putting it on you and asking you to answer the question.
Yeah, stop sitting on the fence and get splinters, bruv. Answer the
politician your way out of this one.
Do you know what?
Diplomatic answer that.
Right now, I'm just because Jose Mourinho is such a cunt, I'm saying Jose. That's it. And I'll tell you what, the funny thing is, if Jose Mourinho hadn't managed Chelsea to such success, he wouldn't be hated by Arsenal fans. If he was at Liverpool, you wouldn't have hated him.
I don't hate him.
Come on, the whole voyeur thing that pissed Arsenal fans off back then. I remember.
I don't hate him. I literally don't.
Nah, man, I don't. I was like I said earlier on. We were still saying a couple seasons ago, maybe even a little bit of last season, still saying I will still, despite the history between him and Wenger, put all of that aside.
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
Fucking manager.
That's a pound, bruv.
Nah, for fuck's sake. You fucking got me, you fuckers. Anyway, despite the fucking rift between both of them, you know what I mean? Putting all of that aside, just looking at what is achieved in the game, and that in itself, I was saying, look, I would have him over the previous manager at the time, but that was because I wanted him out so badly because of how shit we was doing. And then it got to a point where we would have taken anyone just to
Mate,
hear
I would have
voice.
taken you at Arsenal, Ola.
Yeah. You know what I mean, Mr. Blobby, that famous Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby, mate, that was funny. That was
So
jokes.
you know what I mean? Would that taken any coach out there, and that just goes to show how much of a rut we was in at the time. And right now, I don't see, because you can't go around sacking 8 players. I know you got concerns about all the players you mentioned still, yeah, but you can't sack all them players. They're on high wages. These people are players that you paid big money for. So the most
We
expendable
can't,
person
Ola, we can't
out of
sack
all
him. We
of
can't
those.
even we can't sack him. We can't even sell him, for fuck's sake. This is what I'm saying.
Oh,
This is what I'm saying. But look
well,
again.
maybe Lukaku, you stop with Lukaku,
we'll
but I'm
quite
sure you
happily
get
have
some money for
Martial. Send
Martial.
Martial our
You
way.
get
We'll take
you
him.
get
We'll
money
take
for
him.
Martial. You get money for Bailly.
I was going to say, I'll take my.
I'll take Bailly as well.
I'll take
I'll
Bailly
both
off
of
you.
them. Yeah,
So what's
both
going
of them.
on? What's the question I wanted to ask you since you was on the show? What are you thinking about the De Gea situation and him wanting to be the highest paid player at the club? He wants more money than Sanchez.
He's been our best player. That just says it all. He's been our best player for the past 5 years. It just says it
Goli
all,
wants
doesn't it?
more money than Sanchez.
This is it all.
But
But it's,
hell.
the thing is, I mean, if David De Gea was to leave, he'd want to go to a club where he can compete for Champions Leagues, for titles. Now, people are talking about Paris Saint-Germain. Well, are Paris Saint-Germain really serious contenders for anything? Let's be 100% honest here. You know, they're smashing a league. I mean, they lost their 100% record the other day. For Christ's sake, we're halfway through the season and they won every game. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's only Bordeaux that drew them the other day. But when it comes to the Champions League, I know they beat Liverpool the other day, but over the years, you've seen them. They capitulate when it matters. And because they got players like Neymar and Di Maria that are bottle jobs. They're absolute fucking bottle jobs. So where would he go? Real Madrid have got Courtois. So are they going to cut their losses like Man City did with Bravo? I doubt it. I think their marquee signing next summer is going to be Hazard. So who else could he possibly go to that would want him? Because Liverpool won't get him because they've got Alisson. City won't get him because they've got Ederson. Where's he going to go? You lot have got Leno. So where is David De Gea going to go? I know that he's going to be well sought after by Munich, but is Manuel Neuer going to be leaving? Because he's another Raul, isn't he? You know, he's him and those mercenaries at Bayern Munich. It's the same situation at Bayern. Look at Bayern; they're having the same problems as us because they've got a manager here that the players can't relate to. You got players that are doing what the fuck they want. You got Uli Hoeneß, who's much like Ed Woodward, coming out and saying all sorts of stupidness. Like, I feel sorry for my wife tonight. What, you're going to beat your wife up because you drew against Werder Bremen?
Would you take Couture for De Gea?
No, I wouldn't at all. No, at all. No chance. Listen, at the end of the day, the one thing I will say, and in fact, I've been saying it for years now. In fact, I'm saying it till I'm blue in the face. United fans have been spoilt for a long time, a very long time, and the ones that are throwing their dummies out the pram are the ones that don't understand what it's like to be struggling, to be trying to. I mean, when I was first started supporting United, we hadn't won the league in 22 years, I think. 22 years. So I didn't know what it was like to win trophies. The first trophy I remember winning was the FA Cup in 1990. And that's when it kicked on, winning the Cup Winners' Cup, the League Cup, and then the Premier League, and then it carried on from there. But what a lot of United fans have to realise, especially the younger ones, is that football comes in cycles. Look at Liverpool. They haven't won the league since 1990. 1990, I mean, how long ago? It's almost 30 years, for fuck's sake, you know? But they've won Champions Leagues on the way. They've won FA Cups. They've won League Cups. We've won a couple of trophies since Ferguson has, retired, and Mourinho credits him winning 2 trophies in his first season. But we can't keep playing that. We can't keep playing that tune. We can't keep saying, "Oh, we did great in his first season," because what happens afterwards? Has he left a legacy? I don't think so. Has he brought through enough youngsters? Well, to be fair on Jose, our academy is shit. I mean, it's only the past couple of years that we've actually got an academy director, and that's Nicky Butt, for fuck's sake. We didn't replace Brian McClare. We'll bring in players like Cleverley. What's that guy that's on crack that plays for Arsenal now? What's his name? The guy that was leaking team sheets, and then that's why Van Gaal sold him. What's his name? Welbeck. That's the one.
What are you on about?
So,
Welbeck, you might have Jemba, man. What happened to you?
Yeah, so good they named it twice, and he fucked off. You know, so listen, we signed some duds, but that was Ferguson. If you want to talk about duds, I could say Cavalier.
Fuck it now, baby,
come on.
is one of them, innit?
And the reason I just brought Cleberson up, right, is because I just had some muppet in my notifications on Twitter, yeah, right? Because I said I'd been Ozil and Ramsey in a previous tweet earlier this morning, yeah, right? He's gone, congratulations, you know nothing about great world-class players, right? There's a reason one of them has won the World Cup and played for the two best clubs in Europe. We are one of them. Madrid is the other, right? Then he's gone on about Ramsey being linked with Bayern Munich, Inter and AC Milan. Yeah, good one, right? My reply. By the way, this guy is called, if you want to tweet him, feel free. RPEMBS14 on Twitter, right? My reply was, Cleverson won a World Cup and played for Man United. What's your point?
Exactly.
Yeah, Roque Jr. Yeah, Roque Jr. played for Brazil, won a World Cup, and then went and played for Leeds United. What's
Bernard Diarmed won the World Cup with France. Stefan Guivarc'h won the World Cup with France.
Exactly. And who was his strike partners? Fucking Henry and fucking Trezeguet. You know what I'm saying? These people are fucking dicks, man. I swear. I love Twitter sometimes. You're just like, oh, he's world class because he won a World Cup. Sorry, does that make Mustafi world class then? Or Mertesacker?
All right, let's move on to some team stuff. So I wanted to do my usual hope for 11s with obviously Stel, and then me, Lee, and Ola will do a combined one since Lee's probably done his own one on his own channel, which you should go check out. Go check out his previews. Just dropped that, which is the reason we were late.
Yeah, because it took a fucking million years.
But yeah, so what I would say is, let's see if we can do a combined 11. I've never done one of these with you guys before, but let's see how many Arsenal players are getting to United squad or vice versa. So
this is quite easy, man. De Gea's in goal.
De Gea's in goal.
Yeah,
that's a given.
100%. Hector Bellerin as right back, so I don't know who is.
Well, not right back.
They got Valencia, who's
right back. We've got a failed winger at right back.
Are we all agreed on De Gea?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I don't think that's even up for debate, is it? De Gea.
I like Leno, but come on. They're levels. Come on.
Right. So Bellerin over Valencia as well. Are you saying that still?
Well, we've got a failed ex-Wigan winger at right back. I mean, what do you want me to say?
All right, cool. Left back.
Are we going with injured players or players that
just go with anyone? Go with anyone.
Go with anyone. Would be available.
Are you going with
any players that would be available?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Any players that would normally be available.
We might as well just
no
injury. Arsenal players from now on. Then after the
let's put this way. I think I know what's going to happen here. There's only going to be 3 players that'll make this team from United. It'll be De Gea, Pogba, and Martial. But that's true. It's true.
I'm unpredictable. Trust me.
Chris, stop the video now. Well done, Stel. Yeah. Thank you. This has been Guna Eagle Eye. You can subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe to Stel's channel. You can subscribe to Ola's channel. We're out of here. Peace.
You never know. Trust me, these two are unpredictable with stuff. You never know. So let's see. Centre backs. Who are we going with?
Socrates holding and Mustafi.
Oh, are you going 5 at the back?
No.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I'll take Baye, man. If Baye
he's injured,
I'll stick him in there.
You said Chris has already called it.
No.
Baye is injured.
Best possible team.
We're going best possible. Okay.
You're taking a player with one leg. You're taking a player with one leg. Why don't they just choose Oscar Pistorius as well? No,
you know what? I quite like Lindelof. I was going to leave out Mustafi.
I tell you what. Why don't we sign Oscar Pistorius because he's more deadly than Lukaku?
Oh God! Oh my
Shots
day.
fired.
My day.
Literally.
All right. So left back.
His lyrics. His lyrics.
Killing it, man.
His lyrics. You know what? People are saying to me, right? Oh, Lukaku's got shit bars. I'm like, no, he should be behind bars because his lyrics are criminal. Fuck off. You're a Belgian footballer, not an American rapper. You.
Oh my day.
Go. It was.
But-
I know it was Jay-Z lyrics, but I honestly didn't even realize at first it was Jay-Z lyrics until I was like, I swear I've heard this before, but said with so much more conviction.
Mate,
And
we
then
could
it
have
was
all,
like,
we could have all
oh,
done
look,
it
it
so
was
much
Jay-Z.
better. Even that, even the next Ronaldo, Memphis Depay, has got better bars than Lukaku, and even that was shit. Even
Do
that
you know
was
what?
shit.
Can I just say something on Lukaku, right? I don't know if you guys remember at the beginning of the season, he did this interview or he wrote this. It was like this thing. I can't remember which website it was where they asked current and ex-pros to write letters to themselves when they were kids. And Lukaku did one. He was talking about living in a slum, and then he didn't have a kit, and then he played for a team, and he bought his mum a TV, and yada yada yada. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, what a genuine guy!" And this and that. I'm looking at him now. I'm like, geezer, like, are you fucking for real? Like, and this is the thing, right? You've got a lot of footballers, as I said before, that say the right things, that get fans on side, and they use the sympathy card. It's kind of like the whole X Factor thing. If you've got someone that cries because they got a kid with 3 eyes, you know, their chances of winning are greater than someone else that's a normal person. Right?
That's true.
But with Lukaku, Lukaku got this you know, this sympathy vote because he wrote this beautiful, heartwarming story about his childhood. Well, I don't remember Didier Drogba getting any credit for what he did or what he's done after finishing as a footballer, because he does a lot of charity work. What does Lukaku do? He needs a fucking charity. He's a charity case, honestly, because he's fucking dog shit. Carry on.
Still so
Yeah,
positive
man.
about
Look,
the
you know
United
what?
team is
So United's backline is a non-starter then, because
All right.
being
Yeah.
in minus one,
Do you know what? To be honest, I mean,
being
as
minus
I said
one goal
before,
difference, that's as cold as it gets, man. You lot got to minus before the weather even fucking got to minus.
Oh yeah, true. They
Yeah.
got, but
I mean,
but they don't score
that's-
goals either. So that's the other side of that coin.
that's red.
So but anyway,
listen,
let's go.
but as I said before, I think there's a player in Lindelof. But
Me too. I rate him.
again, I wouldn't put him in that 11 if you're talking about form. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So an Arsenal defensive back line, blimey, that makes me.
So are we
itchy.
going 4 at the back or 5 at the back?
I want 4 at the back. I don't know
Should we
about
go
this
4
5
so
at
we
the
can
back.
have more attackers in there?
Yeah.
You, I know you want your boy Iwobi in there. We look like, you know.
No, I don't want. Iwobi don't get in my team. I'll be
Jesus.
honest.
did you get your hands on that god awful
Yeah,
kit, by the way?
Martial gets in there.
Bite your tongue. What are you talking about? Talking about the Nigerian kid. Right. Yeah, what was I going to say? So, yeah, so all right, so an Arsenal defensive back line with De Gea in goal. You never know. It might perform better. Midfield, surely. And even I've got to give it to Stel here because he's been backing Xhaka since day one. Surely is Xhaka and Torreira. Because who is United's defensive midfielders?
We're going 4-2-3-1
take your
or
pick.
4-3-3.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I'll go 4-2-3-1.
Well, I wouldn't put Matic. I wouldn't put Herrera, who's the Spanish cleverly. I wouldn't put Fellaini, even though I love the guy to bits. So yeah, let's go with those two. Fuck it.
Cool. All right.
This is not going to end well, this.
On the left-hand side, are we all agreed on Martial?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I have
say
to go
all.
with Martial, man.
Stel might not. Stel might disagree.
I did say Martial over Iwobi. I definitely.
Yeah, but are we
Martial.
putting Martial over Aubameyang?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll put Aubameyang right then, yeah?
Shit, you might need to go 4-3-3.
See, that's why I asked about that formation there.
I forgot about that. All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's just put
No. But what we'll do, we'll put Aubameyang left, Martial right.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right. I'm up
We
for
all
that.
agreed.
I'm up for that.
Stel's not going to agree on Martial.
Stel ain't gonna agree on Martial. We know.
Listen, I can't say anything about the great Anthony Martial because everyone on Twitter loves him. You know, everyone loves him. He's this jack of all trades. We're coming near Christmas and it's the second coming of Jesus.
All
isn't
right,
it?
let's give Stella a choice. Martial or Fellaini? You get one of them that's just scoring goals for you.
Wide left. Wide left. Wide left.
No, okay, no,
Fellaini.
let's not take the piss. Lukaku
No.
up front
Wide
or
left.
Fellaini up front.
Oh God, Fellaini.
Why you
Fellaini. Fuck it. He scored more goals than Lukaku this season, doesn't he?
yeah.
I don't agree to Fellaini. Fuck that. Oh my god.
That's right. They're not. Neither are getting in over Lacazette anyway, bro. So it's cool.
So yeah, are we agreeing with Lacazette up top?
Yeah,
We ain't
why
having
not?
Lukaku.
Well,
Let's
why
be
would
real.
Lacazette.
who would have Lukaku? Which
No
utter
one.
Yeah.
retard would have
West
Lukaku?
Brom. West Brom.
No, it's just some dickhead on FIFA 19 that bought him for 200,000 coins. You pricks! Why are you bumping him up?
Yeah, but
Let me tell you something.
They play him
I
at camp.
Everton would have him back. I bet you any money they'd have him back.
Yeah, they would.
Or over Richarlison? Oh, I'll have Richarlison. I'll have Richarlison all day.
Nah. Listen. Nah. This Richarlison is a £50 million waste of fucking money.
Yeah, I think so,
Trust
man.
me. How
I
many
don't rate
times this guy, yeah, is worse than Memphis Depay, the next Ronaldo, yeah? I know you've had a lot of next Ronaldos, Januzaj and all that lot,
They
right?
really have.
Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done to the spastics that thought Januzaj would be better than Sterling, eh?
So I fucking love you, bro. You're the Man United version of me. It's great.
Yeah,
Right,
he
so
really is. He
we've
really
got
is.
Aubameyang left wing. We've got Martial right wing. We've got Lacazette up top. Who's number 10?
Oh well.
Don't even
that's a
say
good
Mr.
question.
Don't even say Mr. Missing. Ain't happening.
Who do United have as a number 10 though?
Fellaini.
Mata?
Well, we've got Mata. I
They got
guess.
Mata there still.
Jesse Lingard.
Well, we've got some bloke that used to play for
I'm not having it. No way.
Nah,
No
Rat
way.
Boy ain't getting in, man. There's no way that Millie Rock is
Okay.
popping his way
Rashford?
down to the Emirates. Rashford,
Oh,
not number 10, man.
Leave her, though. That's the
No,
problem.
do you know what? Do you know what, right? I'm going to throw this spanner in the works right now. The dog shagger.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah, but you forgot you forgot Pogba, for fuck's sake.
He ain't getting in that midfield, bro.
Well, not even number 10.
No, I'm joking. I'm only winding everyone
Yeah,
up. I would actually put
Pogba
Would you have Pogba as a number 10? As a
Yeah,
number
he
10?
He can play there,
all
can't
day
he?
long.
Play there.
All day long.
Can play
That
there
is,
still.
for me, that's his best
man.
position.
That's probably
Yeah.
his best position, yeah.
I would
And I was
actually.
only joking. Listen, Alexis Sanchez, right, would be sick at number 10. He would be sick at number 10. That geezer's vision's better than Mr. Missing. Yeah? He
Who's
is.
that?
Let's be real.
Oh,
Go
Ozil.
back. Go on YouTube.
When he's on form, some of the
Alexis
goals,
Sanchez,
some of the
yeah.
assists.
Yeah, go and
That he put together for
YouTube
us.
Alexis Sanchez assist, yeah? That geezer's vision is better than Ozil's all day long, right? All day long, right? But with that being said, he's on the downward curve. Pogba is not even hit his peak yet. I play him at number 10. That's his best
Do you think
position.
he's a player
Float
somewhere?
about,
Dude,
picking up the ball, doing what he wants. I'd put him
Do
at
you know
number
what?
10.
Do you know what Ozil is? Do you know what Ozil has got Alexis Sanchez for Christmas?
Gosh, here we go. Go on.
He's giving him his high vis jacket.
For fuck's sake, Stel. Yeah, Stel, man.
Stell's got
Killing me
banners
here,
tonight.
man. Oh my
This is
God.
what misery does to you. It just turns you into.
Do you know what, right?
You know, I'm the
I can't
most
even laugh at Stel, right?
self-deprecating person on the planet.
I can sit here and I can laugh at you, Stel, yeah. But I know
Laugh
what
at
you're
me,
going
cheers,
through,
bro.
right? No, yeah,
But
I know what
we've
you're
been
going
there,
through.
Stel.
This was us
Been
last
there,
season.
Stel.
This was us
This was
last
last season.
and the season
Stel,
before.
let me
Pod
tell you this,
after
right? Let me tell you this, Stel, right? Every game you play this season, you think you're going to lose, innit?
Do you know what the funny thing is, right? You're going to laugh at this. I kind of enjoyed it more under David Moyes because it was a laugh. Because should I tell you why? Because
Look at what Fergie has done to Stel. He left him and fucked him.
do you know what? Right? Should I tell you why? Because with Jose Mourinho, you kind of know what he's going to say at full time, either in his press conference or post-match comments. With David Moyes, it was like, how can you make yourself look like a cunt even more? You know, there was the Man City goes, we aspire to be like Man City. Then there was a new.
I remember that. How is Man United's manager saying that?
That was wicked. That was.
Before the Newcastle game, a team that hadn't beaten us at Old Trafford in like 60 years, he goes, "We'll try to beat them," and then, this is the best one.
Didn't you lose to Swansea at home after about two millenniums?
This was the best one, which I knew from then that was it. After Stoke, he goes, "I don't know what we have to do to win." Give it Moise.
Oh my God.
Give it Moise to the end of the season.
Do you know how many people I know who support United and watch that Newcastle game? And when United scored, when United scored their third goal, they were like, "Oh, okay."
Which game was that?
You know the Newcastle game where you guys were like losing 2-0. You came back and won 3-2.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
like, oh, okay.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the Southampton game at the weekend. I was working, and normally I can watch it on my phone, but I didn't bother because I really couldn't be bothered. The last time I didn't watch a United game was PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League under Van Gaal. I chose to watch Geordie Shore instead because that's how bad it was. He's laughing. It's true.
Mate, don't
So
since
since
ever
you-
again. Biggest load of
So
bollocks
since
on
you love
TV.
Moyes that much and you love his presser that much, he's available.
He is
Yeah,
available. Right? Just said it.
He's
Give it Moise to the end of the season.
He might get us out of the relegation zone eventually. I don't fucking know. But no. Listen, in all seriousness, we have a squad with players with a lot of ability. I'd say the majority of players in that squad have got bags of ability. The problem is, A, they're either not being managed right, which that's the general consensus, or B, their heart's not in it. And the problem is, you can't say it's one or the other. It's both. If they're not
A combination of both.
of course it is. And, you guys are proof that if you've got a manager there that can motivate anyone, then you're going to get results from even the most average players, And, Chig, you were slating Xhaka last season, and I was saying to you from a while back, he's a fantastic footballer and he's great on the ball and whatnot. And people still think that, they still have their reservations about him, but you can't say he hasn't improved since he's come in.
Definitely improved. To be honest, and Lee has said this a few times, all the players, bar Mkhitaryan, I would say, have made an improvement to something. They've all made a certain amount of improvement. Oh, by the way, there's been a good suggestion for a manager in the chat room. Gunnar Michael suggests Jardim for you. Leonardo Jardim.
Works with low budget. Yeah, that's a tick box. Invests in youth. Yeah, that's a tick box. And this is the Glazers tick box, by the way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've got to look at which league he's come from and what he did there. I know. Didn't he win Ligue 1? Did he win it?
He won it with Monaco.
He won it with. Yeah, he won it with not Monaco, but that was round about the time when Paris Saint-Germain pretty much first started rebuilding, didn't they? Am I correct?
Yeah, but he did find a gem of enough players as well from the.
He did.
Squad.
I mean,
the likes of Bernardo Silva and Mendy
of course, but again,
all these guys.
But it wasn't just him, Ola. That's the thing. And again, I understand that,
he had a structure in.
If you got played, though, you can only make what you can with it. I'm just using it as an example because my kid was playing with it earlier. But, if you can't use the tools, then you're not going to get results. But at the same time, it goes. There's an infrastructure at Monaco. They've got Eminalo's there now, who was at Chelsea. So he's got an eye for talent. And they had that before. And, it's not just the manager, it's the people around them that do the work as well. And we don't have that. We don't have a number two. That speaks volumes. Michael Carrick is on the bench. We got McKenna, that I think he's a fantastic tactician. But how long is it going to be before he ends up at Real Madrid or at Bayern Munich or something like that? Because he's got bags of talent, bags of ability. I don't know, man. There's a lot wrong at our club. And again, I can blame the manager, I can blame the board, but the whole club is a mess at the moment. And we've just got to accept mediocrity for the time being. Where do we go from there? I don't know. Look, I can't foresee the future, but if the Arabs came in, if the Saudis came in and people are going to say, oh, well, look at their human rights. Well, ask our Prime Minister why she sold a whole bunch of arms to him this week, but that's another story for another time. You can talk about human rights all you want, but if they come in and they buy the club and they start splashing money and bring in a manager like, I don't know, Pochettino or Zidane, because people are saying Zidane, but again, I don't think Zidane wants a job because he wants a technical director at Juventus. So I digress. There's a lot wrong with our club, but making wholesale changes isn't going to happen sometime soon. It's going to have to be a gradual process. You guys have found it out already. I don't think you guys are completely happy with your squad. Yeah, the results are good, but
the squad's shit.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is
the squad's shit. There's still 5, 6, 7, 8 players that I'd bin from that squad, mate.
Absolutely, and the problem that you guys have, and you had this under Wenger, where you went on these unbeaten runs, and all it took was one defeat, and it kind of deflated you. And I don't know if that's going to happen this time around.
No. Do you know what it is still, right? Under the previous regime, I'm not paying a pound dollar, yeah? Right? Under the previous regime, right? Under the previous regime, right? We knew that we were weak. We knew we only had game plan A. There was no B, C, D, E, or F, right? I'd love to see a stat, yeah? And I was going to tweet it, but no doubt I'd get so much hate by tweeting. I wrote the tweet out and then deleted it, yeah? I'd love to actually see a stat on how many times the previous manager made substitutions in 22 years at half-time. Yeah? Then compare that to the George Graham days and compare that to the Unai Emery 7 months or 6 months he's been here. I'd love to see a stat on all 3 of them managers, yeah, in my lifetime. Right? Fuck Stuart Houston, yeah, and Bruce Rioch. Fuck that, yeah, that's just side issue, yeah. George Graham, the previous manager, and Emery, how many times did they make a substitution at half-time in their tenure? Yeah? I guarantee you now, the previous one was here 22 years. I guarantee you now Emery's made more half-time subs than him. And he's been here 6-7 months.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And the Premier League started, 4 months ago? Premier League started 4 months ago. So in 4 months, he's made more half-time subs.
Yeah, but at the same time, your manager is still learning about his players. This is the thing. And, he's the proof is in the pudding with Unai Emery. A lot of people questioned his appointment when you brought him in. I was one of the few people that said, you know what, he's won 3 Europa Leagues on the bounce. Yeah. Winning the Europa League isn't as easy as people think it is. It's a very, very long competition, as you guys know. You yourself went to fucking practically Japan for a fucking Europa League game. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not easy on the players. It's not easy on the manager. So to win 1 is difficult, but to win 3 on the bounce, come on, man. I know you mentioned this is a stint at Paris Saint-Germain. That club is a poison chalice, as far as I'm concerned. And anyone that goes in there and wins a Champions League needs to be knighted because it's an unenviable task. They've got so much money, but at the same time, the level of expectancy is so high there because of the players that they brought in. But Emery is still learning about his players. And see, this is the important factor, because once he knows his best 11, whether it be bringing players that he knows or promoting youth or whatever it is, you lot are going to be a serious proposition. I'm not saying that you guys are going to be like Man City, where you're going to be smashing 100 points or whatnot, but you will be in and around the title hunt again. And this is where Arsenal need to be. This is where United should be. But it goes back to what I said before. We are on a downward spiral. We're turning to how Liverpool were in terms of the mismanagement, the way that things are run in the background, the way the players are doing their own business. But you never know. In 2 years' time, or maybe this time next year, we might be talking about United as possible title contenders, because things may have changed. You just don't know. A week is a long time in football, which I think Jimmy Greaves once said. A week is a long time in football. And, we can't just sit here and say, well, we got hope for that day to happen. Well, unfortunately, that's the way it is at the moment. And as United fans, it's horrible to be in this situation. But as I said before, and I will repeat myself, we've been spoiled. And we need to face facts that you can't win every fucking game. Instead of being a sport little bitch, right? Support the team, get behind them, and be a proper fan. Don't just sit there and say, oh well, I'm not gonna support the team because Jose Mourinho's there. Like I've seen many YouTubers say, I'm not gonna support United because Mourinho's there. Fuck off. We don't need fans like you. It's fans like them are the reasons why I don't go to United anymore. The last time I went to Old Trafford was in 2010. I had some Love United Hate Glazer stickers. I stuck them all over the West Stand. And there were United fans coming out to me saying, what are you doing? We don't want fans like you. I'm like, no, we don't want fans like you here because you're the cunts that put money in these pricks' pockets. And I was like, no, I'm done my season ticket. Fuck off. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's move towards wrapping this up. I want to get your hopeful 11 for tomorrow. So, Stel, what would you say is the starting lineup you hope?
Wow. Well, King, I mean, we've got Luke Shaw's going to have a fitness test. Rashford is knackered.
Luke Shaw's having a kebab with Mkhitaryan, bro. Don't worry about fitness test.
Pizza and bacon. You heard it here first. Chris Smalling has got a foot injury. Valencia is out. Lindelof is out, and even Darmian is out. So I think Young suspended. So our back line, we're probably looking at Dalot at right back. Left back will be Rojo. Centre backs Matic and Jones. That'll be our back line tomorrow, more likely.
Wow.
Yeah, midfield, he'll probably stick.
Hang on. Did you say Matic?
Yeah, centre back. Yeah.
But they also said
Carrick last year.
That was a partnership at the weekend.
Forfeit. Mate, if you've got Matic and Jones at centre back, my 5-1 prediction is all on.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what I'm saying. Like, we're so depleted at the moment. It's a shambles. Our midfield is more than likely going to be Herrera, Fellaini, Pogba, and if he's going to be brave, he'll put Lukaku with Martial and Lingard, I guess. Or maybe Mata.
Do you think Lukaku will make the squad with nearly murdering himself the other night?
I don't know. What's he going to do? Who's he going to play? If he hasn't got Rashford, who's he going to play? He's got to play Lukaku. He's got to. But my friend had the nerve to say to me, I think we're going to get something out of it tomorrow. I'm like, fuck off. What kind of drugs are you smoking? I need some of that.
All right. So what? Let me get a prediction from you.
Oh, Christ. Wow. We'll be lucky to even come away with a 3-0 loss. Honestly, it's that bad at the moment. It's that bad, but the thing is, it's not just a reflection on us. It's a reflection on you guys, because even if it's 0-0 at half time, you've been outstanding in second halves. You've been coming out blitzing teams, and we don't like teams getting at us. The thing is, you guys press high up the field, which is something I haven't seen you guys do in a long time. Yeah. And you've got someone like Torreira there, and you've got Ramsey that can come in if Xhaka isn't doing well. So you've got all the cards.
Xhaka suspended.
Oh, so Ramsey will come in, and Ramsey always does bits against us. So
Torreira,
Guendouzi. Guendouzi. So again, it's looking really bad for us at the moment.
Which is exactly why you'll probably win.
No, you see, if this was any other era, I'd probably, if you guys had Wenger, I'd say we stand a chance, because as you said, he's got one plan. But you guys, the first 10 minutes of that game against Spurs, I've never seen you go at Spurs like that in the opening stages. And that again speaks volumes to what the manager's done, because he smelt blood from the off. I mean, they had Foyth at centre back, and you straight away fucking get at him. Now, imagine what he's going to say to these lot when you see Matic and Phil Jones. Honestly,
I mean, to be fair to what you said, Emre is so meticulous in how he prepares the team and sets his stall. And I agree with you. I think there's gonna be, look, the amount of video analysis he does. He's gonna be watching that game you lot play against Southampton and how you give Southampton 2 goals so early on, and he's gonna think, how do we get a slice of that pie? And Emre, you got to praise him because of the cultural shift and the shift in mentality that is instilled in our players in such a short space of time. And right now, everybody has that self-belief. We're on a high from the Spurs game, even from the Liverpool game. I think we've been on a high, really, because nobody gave us a prayer. And right now, deep down, some media fuckers out there are still thinking, you know what I mean? We still got to go and do it against you, and then we still got to go and do it against some other teams that they... Look, if we do it against United tomorrow, they're going to say, whoa, United is like a farmer club. That's what they're going to say. They're going to see you lot as some of the farmer teams that they've been dubbing all the other teams that we've been playing well against.
Let me get everybody's. So let me get Ola, Lee, and myself. Let me just get your 1 to 11s to play United and our prediction from you before we wrap it up.
Can I go first?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, go check my YouTube channel, Lee Gunner. Go check my preview.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, sorry, Chris knows me, man. Yeah. Go check my preview. You've got my 1 to 11 in that, yeah?
All right. So that's Lee's answer to that. Ola, what's your 1 to 11?
What Lee said.
All right. I guess I'll do my own 1 to 11. Right. So I'd personally keep the same shape. I'd go 5-3 at the back. I'd go Leno in goal. I have no problems in continuing, even though he made that mistake for that goal. I think he'll learn from it. And then centre backs will be Holding, Socrates, and depending on if Mustafi's fit, it'll either be him or it'll be Lichtsteiner for me as the third centre back. Wing back will be Kolasinac and Bellerin. Central midfielders will be Torreira and Guendouzi. No, Ramsey does not get in my team. I completely agree with what Lee said, by the way, on his Twitter about, Ramsey's suddenly become everybody's favourite player since Sunday. Completely agree.
The most reactionary fans on the planet.
Completely
He
agree.
grabs hold of Dele Alli, he starts swinging him about like a fucking kite. Yeah. And comes on, to be fair, he did boss that second half, right?
He did.
But
he played very well.
He grabs hold of Dele Alli, comes on, bosses the second half. All of a sudden, it's like, throw a 5-year deal at him. Sorry, you turn up 4 times a year, bruv.
Who said that?
You turn up 4 times a year. Sorry, you're not good enough to take us to the next level. Same as Olivier Giroud, yeah? The only reason people rate Giroud is because he's got a fucking nice beard and a huge cock and birds think he's fit. Yeah? End of.
Oh, dear.
Aubameyang and Lacazette are levels above. Levels. And for us to go next level, sorry, Ramsey ain't that next level. Good player. I'll always love them 2 cup final winners. I'll always rate him as a legend of this football club. We disagree on that. Right? More cult hero for some people, but for me, he's a legend. I'll never forget that day at Wembley when he scored against Chelsea, yeah? Right? I'll never forget that. Or against Hull, right? Yeah. But he is not that elite midfielder to elevate us to the next level, right? Yeah. So, sorry, ain't buying it. Good against fucking Vorskla in midweek or Thursday, late week, pre-kend, and good at the weekend after 45 minutes. Not good enough. Ta-ta.
I agree. And for me, it would be Iwobi just behind, because I'm just going to assume that Ozil ain't playing. So just behind Lacazette and Aubameyang. I'd actually go with 2 up top. Fuck it. I'd just hit them with a 2 up top. And my prediction, at first I was going to go a tight 1-0, but then seeing how depleted that defense is, I'm going to go 4-1. Fuck it. I don't care.
The one thing I will say is that I think Mourinho will pick a very physical side.
I think so, but I think we'll outrun you. I honestly do. I think we'll outrun you.
There is a problem, but the thing is, I think the main advantage that we have is that we've got more height in that team. So don't be surprised if set pieces you're going to see a lot of players going forward. the typical, smash and grab kind of performance. Look, it wouldn't surprise me if we got something out of it, because that's just the way that football is. But at the same time, I'm a realist, and judging by your performances as of late, especially at the weekend, and I don't think you guys need me to tell you how big that win was, not just for the table or for bragging rights, but for the confidence, because Spurs smashed Chelsea the other day. I mean, they Jimmy Savilled them the other day, and what you guys did to Spurs was basically what they did to Chelsea.
Yeah.
So you guys have got the momentum, you got the unbeaten streak, but football is a fucked up game. All it takes is one bad refereeing decision, a sending off.
We see
that.
when Rooney.
No, we are
died on
taught.
the
We are
50th
taught.
game.
Oh, you're still going on about
Yeah,
that.
do you know what? It's funny. I watched a 9-minute YouTube video earlier. Yeah, Antonio Reyes still has nightmares of them fucking Neville fucks. Yeah, I swear. Right, mate, that was the biggest scandal. Mike Riley should be fucking done for fucking fraud, deception, theft, fucking everything, man. That was the biggest fuckery in fucking English football, mate. I'm telling you, it was. I ain't even lying. I watched it this morning. Yeah, I sent it to my boss.
I love how you lot still talk about it.
Yeah, but still, come on, man. Sol Campbell never fucking touched that little granny shagging fuck, mate.
Yeah, I'm still salty about that. I ain't gonna lie,
mate, I will never not be salty about that. Sol Campbell went to dangle a leg and pulled his leg away. That granny shagging scouse prick dived, and Mike Riley went, "Okay, Wayne, let me bend over and stick it in you." Yeah? Fucking biggest fuckery ever in Premier League football, man. I'm telling you.
You're starting to sound like Ray J. He still doesn't go over Kim Kardashian.
Anyway, and with that, that's it. Let's wrap things up. Stel, you've had a lot of praise in the chat room. A lot of praise.
Stel's class, man.
Stel's a legend, man. Stel is the Man United
so.
league gunner.
So,
that's high praise indeed, my friend.
Half of your fans will smash your face in, mate, so it's cool. Don't worry about that.
Oh, you know what? Fuck them. Honestly, fuck them in their mums.
Let most of these people know where they can find you, man.
I am on Twitter. I have a new handle, thanks to Chris Smalling getting me banned. It's at the only Stel with an ST.
And it's very true.
Is this the same Chris Smalling that got hacked by the Turkish mafia or whoever it was?
Mate, I don't know, but all I said was I put out a tweet saying, "Would anyone be bothered if Chris Smalling died?" And then the next minute, man, I was suspended.
Fuck's sake. We don't condone people dying, by the way.
We don't.
I bet you were surprised as well. Like, what the fuck did I say? Did I say anything wrong?
I wouldn't mind.
Everything was fine.
What have I said?
But that just shows that he reads his tweets.
He does read his
Chris
tweets. He does. I was going to ask you, what happened to the Red Devil channel that you were doing with Roddery?
I do it every now and again.
Because people are asking about your YouTube channels and stuff.
Yeah, I did one. The last one I did was when I got the news about the Saudis, because the funny thing is, and again, I don't mean to blow smoke at my ass, but the Sun paid me handsomely for that.
You called that first.
Yeah, so I'm quite chuffed about that. But
how much is handsomely?
Enough. Enough for a paragraph. Let's just put it that way.
Enough to cover Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You can say that. Although I did donate a hefty chunk to charity, to be fair, that's just me being like, oh yeah, that's very egotistical. No, but because the last one I did was when I broke the news about the Saudis. I got a lot of stick for that, and then lo and behold, it was in the paper like 4 days later. And then the one was about Aaron Ramsey possibly joining United, because I know that Jose is a big admirer of his, and there has been contact with his agent, but nothing really concrete. It's just like a sit-down conversation, but that depends if Mourinho's going to be there next season. So I haven't done one since, and that was what, 5 weeks ago? But I do shoot the defense. That's the main one I've been doing.
Shoot the defense is the main bread and butter for
that's the main one. So I mean, Rodri either jumps on the show with me. I had Jed Mills that was on. That's the TalkSport presenter. I had him on last night, and he manages to get me on TalkSport every now and again. So yeah, that's it. Just shoot defense. At Shoot the Defense. You can follow me on that one or follow the show on that one. So yeah.
Literally Google it, people. We're talking about someone who is a professional at this shit. So
apart from when I come on your show, I just let loose and completely destroy all my credibility by effing and blinding on your show.
And calling everyone to see you next Tuesday. And telling Chris Smalling to go and top himself and die and all that.
No, I asked, would anyone be bothered? There's a difference.
You should have put, in my opinion, because then it's your opinion, so it would have been fine.
Oh, you can't do that these days. You can't do that these days.
No, you're not allowed. You're not allowed an opinion anymore, mate. Like literally, right? Snowflakes everywhere.
Poor little snowflakes. Yeah.
But yes,
I very good. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting. Right, I had some guy go to me, "You're an Ozil hater." Yeah, earlier on, he goes, "You're an Ozil hater." I was like, "I don't hate the guy. I just want him to play better for my football club." He goes, "Nah, you're a hater." I was like, "No. Genuinely, I hope he plays well for the football club, but let's be real, he ain't." He was waffling on. He was going, "See, look, you're this, you're that, blah, blah, blah." I was like, he goes, "I can't believe you're coming out with this when all the negative stories are coming out about him. It must upset him." I was like, "Yeah, next year we're calling me a racist."
This is the same.
These fucking people, mate. As soon as he fucks off from this club, they're all gone. They're all gone. The same as the previous managers' fans. They're all gone. Have you heard of any of them? Where are they hiding, bro?
Who's the previous manager you're talking about?
Go Google that shit. Yeah? I've had none of them in my mention since he's fucking been sacked, yeah? Soon as Ozil goes, they all go too. My notifications are chill without the previous manager.
Boy, they might rock up a Manchester when United signs him.
I've got a new follower. I think it's someone from your show.
There you go.
That's me on a Snyder account to troll you, mate.
Take my diggity, yeah.
But all right, cool. So Ola, let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Yeah, man, you can find me on Twitter, man. Black Scorpion 3. Same handle for my Instagram. You find me on there.
One of the most hardworking people you'll find in Northampton, which is the reason why. The reason why his YouTube channel, I keep hassling him.
Bit like me, reviewing Instagram.
I'm always on the road, man. I'm always on the road.
Always on the road. But yeah, thank you for coming on again. And last but obviously not least, Mr. Gunner. Let the people know where they can find you.
Well, you see how you hassle Ola for his YouTube? That's how I do with you on Instagram.
This is true.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, start loading that shit.
Him.
Start loading that shit. Right.
I will.
Start loading that shit. Right. Lee Gunner 82, Instagram, Twitter. Follow me up. I ain't really caring about Twitter right now. Although I have gained about 700 followers in the last 2 days.
Yeah, I noticed.
Crazy shit. Why do people follow my shit? Don't get it.
Why do they follow you on Twitter as well? That's what I don't understand.
Do you know why? Because they low-key want to hate.
Tell people to not follow you on Twitter.
I tell them not to follow me and they still follow me. Crack on, man. Yeah. But if you follow my Instagram, DM me on Instagram, slide in the DM, yeah? I'll follow you back. Tell me you followed from Guna Eagle Eye, I'll follow you back. Twitter, do what you're doing. If you follow me, cool. Don't give a fuck if you don't. YouTube, Lee Gunner. Follow me up. Happy days, previews, reviews. And as of the Man United game, I'm going to start doing player ratings.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I see everyone's jumping on this player rating.
Lads, to encroach in my area now.
I'm going to go because I need to take this phone call. I need to take this phone call.
Yeah, it's Jose Mourinho.
See you later, Stel.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, Smalling's on the phone. He's fuming. He goes, "Why do you want me there?" You know what I'm saying? But no, I see everyone's jumping on this player rating hype. Yeah, so I'm like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna jump on the player rating hype. So the next day, I'm dropping a player rating hype.
Let me tell you now, it causes problems, bro. People get emotional when they don't
get emotional over fucking telling somebody they should leave the club. Oh, no, you can't say Ramsey should leave the club. Why? He's been bang average. You can't say Ozil. You don't know what you're talking about, mate. You don't understand football. You don't understand football if you don't rate Ozil. Yeah, maybe I do, and that's why I think he's shit. Yeah? Maybe it's you lot that don't get it fucking... And do you know what? I'm not being a cunt here, yeah? But all these people that fucking slag me off for slagging Ozil off are all the same age group from the same region.
Yeah.
Work that one out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Anyway, on that one, I'm fucking off as well. So nice one. Thank you for having me on again.
I'm
All
out,
right.
man.
Ola,
All right, guys.
love you, bruv.
Drop
I
it
got
up.
a
Peace,
pizza sat
brother.
there waiting.
We'll talk soon,
I
man.
got a wifey in there waiting. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Go on then, boys. Thank you for coming on, yeah?
Peace,
Laters, man. See you,
One
mate.
love, people.
Bye.
And guys that are still here watching me and listening, you can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. Absolutely crush the like button. Make sure as many people know about the show as possible. And hit the subscribe button. This is what I do. I'll probably be back, I would imagine, tomorrow after the game. Maybe might see if I can do something with Ola and Lee in terms of reviewing the game. So do check that out. And that's pretty much it from me. So the best way of doing that is either by following me on Twitter, following me on Insta, which is Guna_Eagle_I, the number 1. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'm also hoping to try and get on my special guests I've been trying to get on for the last couple of weeks. I'm hassling them daily. So we'll see. I'll either be blocked or they'll be on with me. So we'll see what happens. All right, people, I'm out of here too. This show went on a lot longer than we expected, so hence the sudden dropouts. So take care. Deuces.